Hey Sebastian, how's it going? It's Paige. I'm going to show you how I do my pleating out. I just found this way about last week or so. So once you turn it inside out and you're about ready to pleat, I pull out all the corners and kind of tug a little bit on the elastic to make sure that it's kind of like at a perfect, this one's not perfect, it's just an issue of sewing, but to make sure that the material is not folded. And then I'll put something like this. A chopstick works really well. I usually use a chopstick. I can't find it right now. Or a mechanical pencil without like any lead in it. And then you put it inside and you kind of scrape it along the edges a little bit. See how you can kind of see it on that right hand side. And what that's going to do is it's going to push out your stitches a bit like this so you can kind of see them. And that will help when you're folding your pleats so that they are stacking on top of each other better. Can you see I'm kind of scraping it along the edges and you can kind of see the thread a little bit, so it's kind of pushing it. So it doesn't have like this folded. See how this is folded over? So watch when I'm done, it's going to be pushed out after. So you go all the way around the perimeter. Do this side. You don't want to push too hard. You don't want to like pop a stitch or break through your fabric, obviously. But once you have that done, then I usually close the open part on the bottom here. So the pipe cleaner's up top. Here's the bottom part. So I'll fold it nicely. Then I like to use these little pins that have the blue tips because they're really thin and you can kind of sew over them. I know you're not really supposed to sew over pins. Since we're only doing 2-ply fabric and it's cotton fabric, and if you use really, they're called extra fine pins, then you can sew over them. Okay, so then I made this tool, and all it is foam board. I just used one of my sister's old project boards that she had, and then I wrapped it in clear tape so it's a little bit shiny. And I'll get you the dimensions of the width. And so when you put it at the top, so here's the pipe cleaner up here for the nose piece, and then you put it at the top, you kind of press it up a little bit and you can kind of feel a little bit of resistance where this corner seam is inside and this one as well. So you don't want to go all the way to the top, just where you feel that resistance. Then I pull the bottom up and over to the top of the foam board. And it's kind of like a template to do your pleats. So once I do that, I'll do it on one side so you can see one side better. You see how it's kind of like sandwiched in there? So the pleat's over it just that exact width. I pulled it down. I use this end to pull it out. And then I'll pin this side like this. In and out. It's pinned. Then I'll turn it around. Line that back up on this side. Sometimes, in case I didn't press it down enough, I'll go back and remeasure it just to make sure it's the correct width. Kind of, it's called finger pressing when you kind of just hold it with your finger. See how it kind of holds its own shape? Some fabrics do this better than others. So you do that. This is not a perfect system. If you look at it, this side is much thinner than this one. So I totally messed up this one. But it's a better system than just trying to pleat it blindly, I've learned. So I'll kind of straighten it back up. Okay. Okay. Then you use this. You put it, you'll feel the resistance because you're pushing up against the back side of this, where the back side of the pleat is. So once you do that, it'll kind of fold over on you, so you keep it flat. Feel that resistance. Pull up from the bottom and go over. Reach to the top of that template. It's right here against it. So I'll do it opposite so you can see it. So it's coming up like this. Up and over to that, the same width of that template board. And you can use a cardboard. I tried a cardboard first. I had like really cheap cardboard box I got from Amazon. That didn't work as well, so I found my sister's foam board and she said I could cut it. So you want to make sure when you're folding your pleats that they're in a line here, that they're straight. Sometimes mine will get a little wonky because my fabric wasn't cut perfectly or I sewed a little bit crooked. Remember, these aren't, oops, zippers. These aren't professionally sewn. Some of them will be for one-time use. So, you know, don't worry too much about it. Okay, so here again, I'm going to measure this one back. And so you can kind of see how this fabric isn't the straightest. It's kind of going at a slant. It's not like a perfect angle. It'd probably be like right about there. So there's a little bit extra here. It's okay. It's okay. So you have it folded to there. So I will double check. I need to go grab a ruler. The measurements of the width of the, because that's what's like the most important part. It doesn't matter how long it is this way, because I just made it so that it went past the mask so that you have enough to pull it out. Ideally, I wish I would have made it a little bit longer, but when I take things and travel, like I'll go to my parents' house and so for a little bit, I fit everything into this little container. So that's as big as it would fit in there, so I wouldn't make it longer than this because I'll probably lose it. Okay, so the last pleat, you go up and down again, like that. Hold it down, kind of finger press it so it stays. Line it up a little bit here, like that. My sister actually uses the 2 chopsticks, like when you get takeout food and then they give you the 2 chopsticks and they're stuck together and then they have like a little paper sleeve on them. She uses that for the width instead of using this technique. She said it works better for her. So yeah, there's that. So here you can see they're all about the same width because we use that template. There's a little bit extra space here on the bottom, which is good because when you sew, you want to sew it so that you're going to start here. You're going to go down, go over the pleats. Here, you're going to go straight across here. You're going to take this pin out because this is open. So you don't want your pleats to cover this or else you're going to sew the pleat to the opening. And you don't want that. You want there to be some room on the bottom here in the back. So that's about how much room you should be shooting for behind. And it's okay. See how here's a lot thicker than over here? That's okay. Okay. Here it's not the straightest, but also when I sew in the sewing machine, so this is the top where the pipe cleaner is. When I sew, sometimes if my pins are in the way, or see right here how it's not exactly perfect, say that I'm sewing and I'm right here. What I'll do is I'll take out this pin and I'll kind of just pull it over under the foot of the sewing machine and line it up then. So when you pin, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect when you're doing pleating. When you get under the sewing machine, when you get under the needle, that's when I kind of make my final adjustments. Okay? I hope this is helpful. If you don't have a cardboard box or a foam board, let me know and I could probably just cut this for you and you can come pick it up or I can drop it off. It's really good to wrap it in clear tape. I just used packing tape, but if you have just regular tape, just to make it so it's a little bit slippery, so it doesn't stick. Before when I was just using cardboard, it would kind of snag on the material and then the pleat would kind of pull and then I'd have to redo it again. So this seems to be the best. I hope this helps. I am in no way a professional sewer, obviously, but I hope that helps. Let me know.